relatively large percentage. My whole street is wells.
Okay.
There's no way to determine.
There's a formula.
I have 12 houses on my street.
Yeah, I mean,
Half of them have 2 people or less.
Right.
3 have 1 person, 3 have 2 people that are on wells. There's no way to measure without an outgoing meter.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, there are other towns that have the same issue, and they come up with a way to do it. You know, and that's it's kind of a two-step. You know, I think tonight really needs to be to decide: are we going to do this, or are we going to try and gut the budget for $309,000, or actually more than $309,000 will be the numbers? And then if we decide we're going to do it, then the question becomes, right, well, how do we want to go about doing this? You know, you come up with the amount. You come up with Randy has the ordinance that Bound Brook is using.
I have copies right now for the council.
Okay.
We want to hand them out.
You can hand them out. I think you probably need to present council with, well, what is the impact? Okay, how is it going to affect the people with the wells? Okay.
I think Randy could explain, since Randy's the town administrator, that they passed his ordinance, and I think he could explain more of the details of what Bound Brook's doing, or kind of like follow Bound Brook's lead.
Beautiful. Yeah.
If we could.
There
is a royalty I understand I have to pay, but you know, I think they got it. Looking at it today, briefly, I think they got it pretty well down pat on what to do with wells. Wells, the question then is in their ordinance, you can either get a meter and meter your well water coming in, or they will estimate it based on DEP's estimations of how many gallons a day that DEP does. But that's something that we can work out. I mean, there's some of those new things that are going on. And like I said, they separated their ordinance to industrial, commercial, residential. It's all the same rate, but it's based on usage. The water company can provide us with a quarterly or monthly report that provides us with how much water everybody's using, the meter readers that they get from the water company to bill their customers. So we know a gallons for, you know, house number 100 Main Street, or, you know, 50 Lotterette.
First thing we're going to find when we get those numbers from the water company is that they don't match. If you go out and open manholes, especially on the west side of town, after a rain event, you're going to find bright, clean water flowing in a column 3 inches across into Middlesex Utilities eventually.
Sure we are.
That's not going to show on their incoming water meter. It would only show on an outgoing water meter.
And we know, and last year in 2010 was probably one of our highest flows that we've had in the town in a long, long time. Okay, and only because we had 2 flood storms. Okay, we all know the problem with infiltration. We all know the problem with you know, sub pumps in the sewer and stuff like that. And that's all calculated in those gallons that we are providing to Middlesex County Utility Authority at this point. So you know, we have to look at the water bills, get the water bill, and find out what our rate is. Now, Bound Brook is charging $3.55 per 1,000 gallons. There's an administration fee that they charge. Randy, why don't you? I think that Randy could explain this.
Yeah, I think you explained it pretty good. But you know, this is not anything new. I mean, this is being done all over the state, from Cape May all the ways up to Warren County. As Donald said, there's a couple ways you could handle wells. You can come up with the average use within the town of residential use. You can go with DEP, what DEP says the average use is, which is 300 gallons per day per household. Now, they don't distinguish a household of 1 person or 4 people. So 300 gallons is 9,000 gallons a month. That's a little high if it's only 1 person or 2 people. For a family of 4 or 5, maybe that's reasonable. So there's different ways you could look at it. We came up with an administrative fee of $44.40 because there's certain costs that you're going to incur whether the person uses 100,000 gallons of water or absolutely no water. You know, they're going to get a bill. You have to look at the reports from New Jersey American and so forth. So there's gonna be costs incurred. There's gonna be additional computer costs with your computer company, mailing, printing of bills, administrative costs, obviously. But one of the great advantages, and Dennis hit it right on the head, that it is not uncommon for small municipalities that have smaller lots where they don't have 2-acre lots, not to have any sprinkler systems, probably not many pools in town and so forth. They may have community pools or whatever, but it's not uncommon for their incoming water and outgoing be 1.5 times the incoming. It's not uncommon. It's infiltration. Southbound Brook has a older sewer system. There's no doubts about that. I don't think anybody can make that argument. Over years, guess what happens? There's little cracks and so forth that when it does rain, rainwater gets into the sewer system, and yes, you're cleaning that rainwater. They're treating it. One of the things that we've taken on in Bound Brook, and trust me, it's not cheap. We did an I&I study, and then we're determining which areas of the town are the worst I&I and trying to treat those first.
Inflow and infiltration.
Right, I'm sorry, inflow and infiltration. Those capital costs, while any sewer work to do is very expensive, but you could get benefits from that by reducing the flow that's being treated at the sewer authority. Sewer is more expensive than water. People will say, well, I only pay $20 a month for my water bill. Why is my sewer bill $400? It's much more expensive to treat water to get it clean to go back into the system than it is to get clean water from New Jersey American Water. Just the way it is in the state of New Jersey. Which is good. You probably want to drink clean water. So, but one of the benefits you have to doing this is that at least with a user bill where you can control somewhat your amount you pay by conserving water and so forth, that also helps out the town as a whole, because that could bring down the cost of gallons of flow. And one of the reasons why the sewer bill increased, not only were we short last year and they had an increase, but we had an increase in flow last year. Okay, so and that may have been because of a very rainy year and everything, but the MCUA bases everything on the prior year, so your flow went up also. So you had like 3 whacks that increased your rate into quite a big increase.
What is this administrative? Is that a fee for having it?
In the analysis that I did, I came up with estimated costs. Administrative fee would be envelopes, billing, mailing, the computer costs, and so forth of getting bills, getting the raw data, putting it into a billable data, and getting the bills out there.
Don't many of our neighboring towns have a number of lines on the tax bill, including things like fire district and municipal utilities like Franklin Township's utilities bill is on their quarterly tax bill?
I don't believe so. I believe they get a flat rate from I don't know if they have an authority or utility. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, they get a separate bill completely.
Separate bill.
There are towns that have fire districts and so forth.
And separate garbage.
The problem with that is it's based on assessed value. There's no other way you could put a bill on your tax bill other than based on assessed value. Understood.
Now, how'd they come up with this $3.55 per 1,000 gallons? Is that what the water company charges?
No, not at all. It has nothing to do with what the water company charges. Because if you look at your water bill is probably pennies per 1,000 gallons. Okay.
I pay nothing.
Incoming water.
Incoming water. That is based on a whole criteria of different things. Now, in similar to South Boundbrook, in Boundbrook we have 383 homes in Bridgewater that are in our system, plus a rehab center on Route 22, if you're familiar with it. That's all on our system. So we have to take not only all the flow that's coming in for that, we have to take proportions of Bridgewater also. So the criteria is like all the expenses, the flow that we're being treated, the flow that's coming into the town, and adjustment for Bridgewater flow coming in, and it's all worked out through the numbers. And I just gave Donald tonight a copy of how we figured out last year's going. But it's usually, you have to have an engineer certify it. That's in DEP regulations. Tom Harris is your sewer operator. Tom, I am sure, has done many of these type of things in many various ways.
So there would be a fee for that too.
How many homes do we have in South Boundbrook? Right now?
18,
15. 1,500 line items, so.
1,500 line items.
1,500. That includes all there and what's coming out over there?
Probably doesn't include
That's-
tax exempts.
No, it doesn't include that.
So you
It doesn't
probably,
include-
you
and it
probably
doesn't
have
include
another
tax exempts either.
220 tax exempts.
Including Elizabeth Street now?
Yeah,
That's
they got tax bills last year.
It's including them, but not that.
They would not be paying it.
They
They would
Everybody,
pay.
everything.
So
They
that
would
was
pay, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
That's another 17, 18.
The pilots, they would pay this.
17.
17.
This is, tax exempts put in to the sewer system also. They should pay.
So we're taking, so that would be a sewer fee, it would not be, we're taking that out of the tax. so
If that's tax exempt, if they sewer feed, they're all,
They're
And they would
responsible
have
for
to pay.
yes, they all pay.
Churches?
Churches would pay.
Now, I will tell you, and again, it's a council decision how you draft your ordinance. The only people that are exempt in the borough of Boundbrook, and they've done this many years ago, I don't take blame to it. The rescue squad, the fire department, and the municipal building. And the municipal, Boundbrook owns buildings.
Yeah.
We bill the Board of Ed,
Most places do.
we bill all churches, we bill all nonprofits, all those tax exempt properties, so.
And you're not exempt from the tax because it's not a tax, it's a fee.
Right,
So they
it's
can't
it's a
appeal,
sewer fee.
they can't appeal the fee like they would a tax exempt. So all those properties that we've given, like the group homes and stuff like that might have tax exemption, would still be paying a sewer fee.
And certain Board of Ed buildings, especially like a high school that may have, that has showers and everything else in it, there's a lot of water going into the sewer system.
So the school would have to pay for that.
That was their budget. What budget for it?
So I think your first decision is, do you want to go this route? And if it is, then I think you need to direct Donald and Randy to come back to you with the options as to what this, how you can go about charging this.
Okay, let's do a straw. How do you feel, Dennis?
Before we go into that, if you don't mind, what we did is, what we,
That takes me to a couple more.
what we did was we first asked for everybody's budget, and then we cut from the budget there. And then the financial committee came back again, and we said, well, what can we cut? Well, let's cut again. And thank you very much, Public Works gave us up $10,000, God love them. But after cutting the second term, we only came up with $43,000. Then we went and said, well, listen, let's talk about furloughs. What did we save last year with the 12 furlough days? We only saved $23,000. Then the next option was, well, how about if we just make the employees not work Fridays? How much would we save there? And it just kept coming up and coming up that we couldn't make the $300,000.
Well, I knew you weren't gonna make 300,000, but you can't put $300,000 on the back. You're gonna just take this $300,000 and put it into a sewer fee, or the $400,000 and put it into a sewer fee.
And so they're gonna be, increase the money anyway, right? So we're not looking at any other cuts
It's
or.
not that way.